Okay, I am now live. I'm gonna wait for a little bit before we begin to see um, if anyone will show up today. All right, we got one viewer showing up. So yeah, for those who are joining, do inform me if you could hear me. You always got to do that audio check to make sure if everything is fine. You know. All right, so there's two people viewing. Hello, Sailor V. All right. Hello to Siri Bird. All right. So yes, I've heard about it. I've already heard about that SpongeBob Search for SquarePants Burger King thing. I'm already aware of that. All right, so yeah, hello everyone. This is the last stream for 2025. So yeah, so hope you guys are having a great day. So yeah, this is going to be Flipdecks numbers 121 to 140. That's today's stream. Yeah, so before we begin, I do have a few announcements. Not much, but it is something I would like to address. So the first announcement, earlier this week on Monday, to be exact, I had began working on the Super Mario List live stream for Super Mario Land 2 and Super Mario 64. That is in the works as we speak. So that is going to be planned for 2026. So yeah, the next announcement that I have is that yesterday I saw Search for SquarePants, and my review of that film is already out on my EB the Sponge Reviewer channel. So if you guys would like to hear my opinions on that film, do check out that video as I had explained about it. And the last announcement I have is that, speaking about EB the Sponge Reviewer, I do have another stream planned for that channel next year, and I will be reading the instruction booklet for the Nintendo DS version of SpongeBob SquarePants Atlantis SquarePantis. I did own the game on DS, and that's the reason why I am doing a live stream of it, reading the instruction booklet. So yeah, that will be coming out next year in 2026. And yeah, that's really all I have in terms of announcements for this stream. So let's not waste any time, and let's go ahead and get started here. So yeah, hold on, let me switch over. I think it's Shift 8. Yeah, there we go. All right, so card 121. Give me a minute as I go through here. It's going to be on Crystal. And her card came out on November 24th, 2014. So yeah, Crystal's debut was in Portellini. Her occupation is a fortune teller. She loves blackberries and she hates cubic zirconia. Zirconia. Okay, cubic zirconia. Crystal is a self-proclaimed clairvoyant and runs a fortune teller service called Crystal's View. She is accompanied everywhere by her mischievous pet mink named Cannoli. Crystal can be rather polarizing Portellinian. Some pay big money for a reading, while others think she's just an eccentric cook. Once a week, Crystal and Cannoli treat themselves to a delicious dinner at Papa's Pastaria. So yeah, that is her debut game. She first appeared in Papa's Posteria, and yeah, this is a Crystal. This is her doing her thing. She's a fortune teller, as the flip deck card depicts. Uh, she has her mink around her neck, and yeah, so she has this crazy gray hair. She wears like a burgundy colored shirt with spots on them. So yeah, I do have to say that this card does look pretty interesting. All right, so that's Crystal. All right, so moving on is the Jellybacks. This is card 122, and it launched on December 2nd, 2014. So yeah, I am gonna pull them up now. All right, Jellybacks. All right, so the Jellybacks, they debuted in Papa Louie 2 when Burgers Attack. Their hometown is Gummy Grotto. Their occupation is none. They love sprinkles and they hate jumpers. Jellybacks are 8-legged creatures that can be found all across the land of Munchmore. They are non-aggressive and are impervious to attacks, thanks in part of their protective gelatinous shell. The Jellyback species can be traced far back to the shores of Gummy Grotto. Funny enough, that's actually one of the levels from Papa Louie 3, even though they debuted in Papa Louie 2, where their ancestors first crawled out of the sea. Customers have learned that a well-placed jump on a Jellyback can launch themselves high into the air. All right, so here are the Jellybacks. They're these little gelatin bug creatures, as you see them here. And the background depicts one of the levels in Papa Louie 2, more specifically, either levels 1 or 2. It could be either one of those levels. All right, so that's the Jellybacks. All right, I'll go ahead and read one more card, and then I will check back at the live chat. All right, so moving on. Next up we have is Grimmy. This is card 123, and it launched on December 24th, 2014. All right, so Grimmy's debut was in Papa's Freezeria. His hometown is Calypso Island. He loves lobster. He hates fire coral, and his occupation is a snorkel guide. Grimmy is a brash surfer from Calypso Island. He spends most of the days drifting off the coast, waiting for the perfect wave. Grimmy is an excellent free diver and routinely scours the ocean floor for delicious lobsters and conchas. During tourist season, Grimmy makes some extra cash by taking visitors out in snorkeling excursions to the Great Saltine Reef, or Saltine Reef. Yes, there will be times where I will butcher words, so I will try my best to pronounce them the best way I can, obviously. All right, so yeah, here's Grimmy. He's surfing on a giant wave, and he's wearing a black swimsuit. And yeah, and his surfboard has this weird, confused looking face expression. All right, that's Grimmy. All right, live chat. Let's see. Okay, look. All right, listen, Sailor V. I've said this many times that people, well, I know I haven't said this, but you have to understand that people have a change of mind. So don't always take into consideration if somebody said in the past, oh, this will most likely be my last thing, they will have a change of mind. So yes, I did say that, but then I've decided that I wanted to host another stream. So don't always have that mindset, you guys. Like, just because you hear somebody say that they'll most likely said that it will be their last thing, they might consider it, and if not, they'll have a change of mind and they will decide to host another thing, because people do that all the time. Like, this shouldn't be a shocking revelation that you've like for example, if you like, there's like many YouTubers out there who said, "Oh, I'm not going to do this thing." Like for example, Greek and Shaw, earlier in this year, well, not earlier this year, but sometime around in June, one of the channel runners said that they decided they're going to step down on YouTube because of their, maybe they've lost interest or their busy schedule and all that. And then months later, the owner of that channel randomly came back and did a live stream on their channel. So again, I'm just letting you guys know, do not always believe in that. Because somebody said they said they weren't going to do anything anymore, they will have a change of mind and they will decide to go back to it. So just letting you guys know on that. So don't always believe in that, okay? Just saying it nicely here. I know I've said that the SpongeBob Roblox game would be my last stream, but then right out of the blue, I said, hey, why not I do another stream on this channel? So I will be doing the instruction booklet for SpongeBob SquarePants Atlantis SquarePants next year. Really, honestly, the Cerebro, I don't really will consider. I never really thought of that. So if I had to pick the funniest Koopaling, I would have to say either between Iggy and Lemmy, because if you play games like NSMB Wii, you'll notice that they're very crazy and they're very zany. So hence why you might consider them to be the funniest Koopaling. So I'll just say Iggy and Lemmy, because I don't really have that kind of mindset. Because if I want to be honest, you guys, the questions you might ask, I will not have an exact answer to that, because it's been a long time since I've covered or since I played through those games on my own time. So I'm just saying that. So that's all I'll add. All right. So next up is card 124, which is the Swiss Zach, and it came out on January 7th, 2015. All right, so we're gonna type that in, or Swiss Zach. So yeah, these guys are from Papa Louie 2. Their hometown is Monterey. Their occupation is none. They love a steady tempo and they hate the jellybacks. Swiss Zacks are cheesy behemoths from Mountain Monterey. Their hardened cheese rind protects them from danger. Throughout the mountains, you can hear the distant thumping of the Swiss Zacks as they rhythmically stomp on the ground. The drowning beat being the only form of communication they have with each other. Most inhabitants of the hills keep their distance from Swiss Zacks, as their unmerciful stomping halts for no one. So yeah, the Swiss Zacks in a way are very similar to the Thwomps from the Super Mario series, as they would come down and they will rise back up. But unlike the Thwomps from the Mario series, is that the Swiss Zacks, they just go up and down at will, while the Thwomps, they will only come down if you like come contact to them. So and not only that, there's a obstacle in the Cactus McCoy series called the I think they're called the Compactors, and in a way, the Swiss Zacks are inspired by the Compactors, which were the obstacles found in the Cactus McCoy games, also from Flipline Studios. So I will bring that connection, or thought I'd bring that up, is what I meant to say. All right, so moving on, we got is Lisa. No, not Lisa Simpson. So yeah, this is card 125, and it came out on January 13th, 2015. All right, Lisa. Her debut was in Papa's Burgeria. Her hometown is Burgerberg. She loves tofu. She hates pulled mussels, and her occupation is an aerobics instructor. Lisa is an aerobics instructor from Burgerberg, where she teaches weekly courses at the local Fit Frenzy gym. She is an avid runner and trains all year for the world-renowned Burgerberg Marathon. Lisa has made quite a name for herself by coming in first place 3 times in the last 5 years. At each race, she is cheered on from the sidelines by her proud father, Franco, So I was right. I was right about Franco being her dad because in one of my yeah, it was one of my Let's Plays of the Papa's games that I actually mentioned that is Franco Lisa's dad, and I was right. So that's actually pretty cool. So yeah, here's Lisa. She's winning a race since she's an aerobic instructor. So she's wearing this jersey with the number 108 on it, and she got these waistbands or wristbands. And yeah, so that's really all this card depicts. All right, so moving on to card 126, a Brussels lark. This dropped on January 20th, 2015. All right. Okay, here we go. Brussels lark. All right, so the Brussels larks are from Papa Louie II. When burgers attack, their hometown is Leaf Landing. Their occupation is none. They love nesting in the city and they hate rain. These pint-sized larks spend their summer swirling atop Mount Monterey. During Ratley's raid, several Brussels larks unknowingly traveled through an open work portal. They have since multiplied and spread out all across the new land. From Taco Dale to Maple Mountain, sightings of Brussels larks have become commonplace. Even Calypso Island has reported a Brussels lark nesting in a coconut tree. All right, so here are the Brussels larks. There are these little tiny leafy bird enemies from Papa Louie II, and you got them resting on a power line, and you got a background of a Ferris wheel and a tall needle-like building. So yeah, these are the Brussels larks. All right, I'll go ahead and take a quick look at the live chat. Well, the Surrey Bird, I think when I first got my Game Boy Advance SP when I was like 4 years old, and that's how I got into the Mario series. And then as I got older, that's where I started to have a more appreciation to the Super Mario series as I got older, like in middle school and all that. So that's how I first got into the Mario series. It's been a year ever since I watched your channel, especially your streams. I just want to thank you for bringing me entertainment to your videos. Thank you, Sailor V. I appreciate the kind words. Well, one of the apps I used to play a lot was Subway Surfers. That was back in middle school, so that was one of the few apps that I was into. I also played a little bit of Fruit Ninja as well, and I also played the stupid the Leps World games. So those were some of the apps that I played back in the day. And obviously, I don't play apps anymore because I'm just not a mobile person. All right, let's go ahead and move on. All right, so next up is Diano. This is card 127, and it came out on January 27th, 2015. All right, Diano. All right, so his debut was in Papa's Posteria. His hometown is Portellini. He's a gondolier. He loves gnocchi, and he hates barnacles. Diano grew up in the seaside town of Portellini, and oh, sorry, I'm reading that too fast. Diano grew up in the seaside town of Portellini. In high school, he worked at the boat docks where he cleaned and repaired gondolas. He was mentored by the late great gondolier Maximo del Mar or Mari, Mari. After years of practice, Diano became an official gondolier. Throughout, though not the best singer, he can whistle like a bird. His enchanting melodies can be heard echoing throughout the canalways as he guides the locals around town. So yeah, Portellini is obviously Flipline's take of Italy, the country of Italy. Like Venice, for example, that's one of the cities in Italy. So here's Diano. He's riding on a gondola and he's rowing, and you see him whistling. Depicts. Never mind. I'm not going to say anything else because I was trying to add something else to that. But yes, he is whistling. And yeah, that's really all this card depicts is him gondoling or riding a gondola. All right, so next up is the Dillworms. This is card 128, and it came out on February 18th, 2015. So yeah, fun fact: the Dillweeds are the profile picture of the Flipline Studios Wiki's Discord server. So yeah, the Dillweeds, they first appeared in Papa Louie 2. Their hometown is the Saucelands. Their occupation is Fort Patrol. They love brine pools, and they hate. Wait, what? Gary Gherkinhawks. Yeah, Gherkinhawks. Okay. Dillweeds are slender baddies that are highly adept at all-terrain traveling. They can seamlessly roll from the top. They can seamlessly roll from the floor, up walls, and even upside down along ceilings. In the wild, packs of dillweeds will consistently circle their territory, keeping out any unwanted guests. With this in mind, Sarge uses them to patrol the perimeter of Fort Onion. So here are the dillweeds. There are these pickle enemies from Papa Louie 2, and you got them rolling around in Fort Onion. All right, moving on. So next up we got is Ivy. This is card 129, and it came out on February 26, 2015. All right, Ivy. All right, so her debut was in Papa's Freezeria. Her hometown is Tacodale. She is a travel agent. She loves pecans, and she hates flight cancellations. Ivy is a successful travel agent for Travel Trout, Inc. Although originally from Tacodale, she quickly moved to Calypso Island as soon as Travel Trout opened a new branch on the remote island. Ivy stays very busy helping tourists plan vacations to and from the tropical paradise. Even though she works very hard, Ivy still finds plenty of time to relax on the beach. All right, so here is Ivy's card. You got her giving out a tourist, showing off a tourist map. In the background, you got a picture of you got a globe, you got a silver medal. I'm assuming you got like this Papa Louie statue, you got a Hawaiian hat, and you got a little airplane model resting on her desk. All right, that's Ivy. All right, I'll read one more card and then I'll check back the live chat. So we got card 130, Luau Punch. This came out on March 18th, 2015. All right, Luau Punch. Yeah, I'm butchering the name. Well, let me. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Luau Punch. All right, so his debut was in the Papa Louie 3, When Sundays Attack. His hometown is Gummy Grotto. He is a boxer. He loves KOs, and he hates Nepolites. Luau Punch is a champion boxer from the sugary shores of Gummy Grotto. He is unbeatable in the ring because, despite his size, he is quite nimble and very quick. Upon teaming up with Radley Madish, he was sent to Napolitown, which was recently taken over by the Radish Brigade. Okay, never mind. Yeah, the Radish Brigade. Lee Punch was placed in charge of watching the chef of chefs himself, Papa Louie. So yeah, Luau Punch is this coconut creature. He's got these gummy worm-like arms. He got his little boxing gloves here. You got him wearing a belt, and he has green and yellow eyes. Yeah, he's basically a giant coconut drink monster creature. All right, live chat time. No code name. I haven't played any of the Little Big Planet games because, as I said in the previous stream, I never owned any Sony consoles, so nope. I have not played through that series. I used to be the master of Fruit Ninja. Okay, that's cool. All right, so next up is Mary. This is card 131, and it came out on March 25th, 2015. All right, Mary. All right, so her debut was in Papa Louie When Pieces Attack. Her hometown is Tastyville. She is a painter. She loves dog parts, and she hates edging. Mary has been a fan of Papa's food since the opening day of his pizzeria. Mary is an artist by trade who mostly paints homes and apartments. Mary can always rely on steady work from Papa Louie. He usually hires Mary to paint his new restaurants before they open, which can keep her pretty busy. She's an amateur bagpiper and can be heard practicing in her apartment bright and early on the weekends. After a long day of painting, Mary relaxes by watching TV with her two pet pugs, Pinto and Garbanzo. So they're named after beans. Yeah, Pinto and Garbanzo. Yeah, they're named after beans. All right, so here's Mary's card. You got her painting. Well, mostly dropping a paint bucket off the ladder. Like, bruh, you're supposed to be a well award painter. Why you're over here dropping your paint buckets? Like, come on now, don't be that clumsy. Yeah, so that is her card. All right, so next up is the Sunday Saurus. This is card 132, and it came out on April 16th, 2015. So the Sunday Sources are the main villain. Well, not villain, the main enemies of Papa Louie 3 When Sundays Attack. They are the Burgerzillas of that game. So their hometown is Cookie Cavern. Their occupation is a monster guard. They love sprinkles and they hate customers. Sunday Sources are frigid ice cream monsters concocted by the evil Rattly Maddish. Given their soft serve consistency, they are highly adaptable and can easily roll with the punches. They have been known to use their glass cups as helmets and even shoot the occasional ice cream ball at would-be attackers. Although Rattly tried many flavors, he found the vanilla strawberry Sunday Sources to be best suited for the job at hand. So yeah, these are the Sunday Sources. They're these concocted ice cream sundae monsters. They have a gummy worm-like tongue. They're in glass cups, and they have strawberry icing on them, and they're vanilla-based because that's Rattly's preferred Sunday Sources variety, and they got a giant cherry on top. All right, so those are the Sunday Sources. All right, so next up is Mayor Mellow. This is card 133, and it came out on May 28th, 2015. All right, so Mayor Mellow, his debut was in Papa's Cupcakeria. His hometown is Frostfield. He is a mayor. He loves parades and he hates debates. Mayor Puffleton Mallow has governed the picturesque town of Frostfield for many years. As mayor, he has worked extremely hard to herald the town into the 21st century while still managing to retain Frostfield's old world charm. Over the course of his term, Mayor Mellow has brought many new businesses to the area, including the indoor water park, the Great Sprinkler Chalet, and Papa's Cupcakeria. Long before becoming mayor, a young Puffleton paid his way through college as an assistant manager at Biscotti Bookstore. So yeah, here's Mayor Mellow. He is this, he's this giant, overweight guy with a hat. He has a feather on his cap as well. He has a giant M on his belt. What is this? What is this? The freaking Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4 episode from SpongeBob, where this little shrink ray belt. That's what it kind of looks like. He got him wearing a striped shirt. He got the little white bow tie on, and he got vote. And I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say Mayor Mellow on down here, but obviously the little banner is covering up the word, so you can barely see it. All right, that is Mayor Mellow. Mellow. All right, so next up is card 134, the Thorn Shroom, and it launched on June 9th, 2015. All right, Thorn Shroom. All right, so the Thorn Shrooms, they debuted in Papa Louie 2. Their hometown is the Saucelands. Their occupation is none. They love the shade and they hate tomatoes. A Thorn Shroom is a large prickly shroom that grows abundantly in the muggy marshes of the Saucelands. It has evolved a menacing cap of sharp bloom thorns to ward off any annoying creature from jumping on its head. Being firmly planted in barbecue sauce, thorn shroom prefers growing in large groups. This can be rather problematic for passersby as their large barrier of thorn shrooms can easily block an unkempt path. So the thorn shrooms are the more deadlier versions of the blue shrooms, which we had read previously. So they have spiky blue. Yeah, they have spiky blue thorns. They have blue spots on them, and they have jagged mouth, very similar to the regular blue shrooms. And these are the thorn shrooms. All right, so next up is Nevada. This is card 135, and it came out on July 6, 2015. So this is another Papa Louie character named after a U.S. state. All right, Nevada. All right, so her debut was in Papa's Cupcakeria. All right, so her hometown is Calypso Island. She is a jewelry maker. She loves seagulls and she hates hurricanes. Nevada lives her carefree life on Calypso Island with her younger sister, Utah. So, yeah, Utah and Nevada are siblings. Her bubbly personality brings a smile to everyone she meets. Nevada organizes the farmers market and craft show every Thursday during tourist season. There, she is happily sells her jewelry that is a handmade using items found along the sandy beach. Every morning at sunrise, Nevada combs the beach to find what goodies the tide had brought in. All right, so here is Nevada's card. You got her selling jewelry on Calypso Island, as depicted by the palm tree and the blue, well, not blue, the pink-orange gradient sky. And yeah. All right, live chat. No, I don't have any plans on getting any. No, I don't have any plans on getting a Pro controller. I don't see a reason to get one. All right, so next up is Rocky Road. This is card 136, and this card came out on July 13th, 2015. All right, Rocky Road, the character Rocky Road, because there is a menu item named Rocky Road as well. All right, so Rocky Road debuted in Papa Louie 3, One Sunday's Attack. His hometown is Napoli Town. He is a cone repairman. He loves scoop ball and he hates low alley punch. Rocky Road lives in the seaside village of Napoli Town. There, he runs his own business, Rocky's Cone Repair. As with most Scoopians, their crispy cones tend to crack over time. Rocky has made a living performing both major and minor repairs for the many locals. In his free time, he enjoys walking around the boardwalk, striking up conversations with the new people he meets along the way. So, yeah, the Rocky Road is one of the many ice cream cone themed NPCs from the Napoleon level and the Papa Louie 3, which is the third level of the game. So, yeah, this is Rocky Road. He has a bow tie. He has his chocolate ice cream scoop. He has a white hat, a brown mustache, gloves, all that good stuff. All right, so next is Bertha. This is card 137, and her card came out on July 20th, 2015. All right. Okay, so Bertha came, her debut was in Papa's Hot Doggeria. Her hometown is Tastyville. She's an umpire. She loves barbecue ribs, and she hates snarky fans. Bertha is the head umpire for Griller Stadium. There, she holds a league record for umpiring 856 consecutive home games. During the winter, Bertha hits the ice as a hockey referee, where the Tastyville cold cuts are a crowd favorite. Being somewhat of a celebrity among sports fans, she can be spotted at many local events. Bertha has officiated numerous eating competitions and is a dependable judge for the annual Tasty Rib Cook-Off. All right, so here is her card. You got her umpiring at Griller Stadium, which is the baseball stadium of the Papa Louie games. And yeah, this is her umpiring. She got this big mouth. She got her pointing at this border. Yeah, I know she's pointing at the outfield, but it kind of looks like she's just pointing at this border. All right, we have 3 more cards to go. So we got the Gummy Eel. This is card 138, and it came out on July 27th, 2015. All right, Gummy Eel. So yeah, they debuted in Papa Louie 3. Their hometown is Gummy Grotto. They have no occupation. They love jelly plankton, and they hate strong currents. Lurking in the depths of Gummy Grotto lives the elusive fish known as gum eels. These vibrant eels flow like a ribbon of rainbow through the otherwise blue abyss. Divers must exhibit great patience when approaching a group of gum eels, as their long bodies can easily crowd the narrow passageways of the sea. They can be observed swimming endlessly, left and right, as they slowly snack on tiny jelly plankton. So yeah, this card does look really cool. I really do like the design of this card. It kind of looks like a Goosebumps cover because of the way how it's shot. But yeah, you got these big eyes. There are these gummy worm eel creatures, and you got them under the water. All right, so card 139, Hacky Zack. This came out on August 3rd, 2015. All right, Hacky Zack. All right, so his debut was in Papa's Donuteria. Hold on. He's from Powder Point. He loves mangoes. He hates lines, and his occupation is a Papa's paleteria worker. A few summers ago, Hacky Zack got a job running the bumper beans at Powder Point. Being a fun-loving, laid-back kind of guy, he quickly made friends with all of the workers at the park. Nowadays, Zack can always be seen goofing around the park while munching on the free snacks he gets from his concession stand buddies. His current job at the park remains a mystery because for the last year or so, nobody has actually seen Zack working, or quote unquote working. You have to put the word in quotes. All right, so here's a Hacky Zack. You got him playing Hacky Sack, hence his name, with his feet. And you got him wearing this mango-colored headband or hat, if you will. And yeah. All right, everyone. We're about to head on to the last card for this session, the Culottes. This is card 140, and it came out on August 10th of 2015. So yeah, the Culottes. All right, so these guys are from Papa Louie 3. They were from Blue Moon Bay. They have no occupation. They love lounging, and they hate caramel crabs. Culottes are Palikit pineapples from the land of Munchmore. They come in several varieties, the most common being the Pina Colada and Poco Colada. Pina Coladas can be seen aimlessly walking along the crystal blue shoreline, unaware of approaching people or obstacles in their way. Poco Coladas are just as chill, but don't expect them to follow a Pina straight off of a cliff. They're not that crazy. All right, so yeah, here are the Pina and Poco Coladas. Well, I think there was just the Pina Coladas because they have the sunglasses. So you got them in Napolitown. And yeah, they're these little pineapple enemies with sunglasses. Oh wait, yeah. I think the Pina Coladas have the little straight mouths, while the Poco Coladas have the more swervy mouths. All right, everyone, that's it. These are cards 121 to 140. I would like to thank you all for showing up today for this stream. And yeah, so before I head out, I am going to check the live chat for a final time. And yeah, so let's see what you guys have to say here. Yes, Master M, you should know this already. I review every episode of the Patrick Star Show. When it comes out in the US, yes, I will review it. So I'm sorry if I'm sounding rude here, but you should know the drill already when it comes to me reviewing SpongeBob. What is your first video you uploaded on the Pop Louie series? Well, I really can't say that because I don't really remember, but I really can't answer that question. And I'm not going to go through my channel trying to find it. Well, even though I don't eat a lot of ice cream because I am lactose intolerant, I would say I'm a vanilla person. So yeah, that's all I'll add. Okay, everyone. So yeah, that's it. These are all the streams I'll be hosting for 2025. I would like to wish everyone a happy holidays because next week is the holiday season. So yeah, so if you are from the US, that is a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all that cool stuff. And I'll see you guys next year with more live streams. So goodbye, everyone. Have a great weekend if you're from the United States time zones. And yeah, and I will see you guys next year with more live streams. Goodbye, everyone, and happy holidays.